Hi, I'm Kenzie Leonard from the International Dyslexia Association of Georgia's Teen Board. Welcome back to the IDA College Q&A series, where we explore tools to help navigate the transition from high school to college for students with dyslexia. I want to thank Chantal Alford for joining me today. And Miss Alford, would you like to start us off by introducing a little bit more about yourself and some of the work that you do at Kennesaw State University?
Absolutely. Kenzie, please feel free to call me Chantal. Miss Alford is my mom, but don't tell her I said that.
Okay.
So I currently work as an accommodation specialist here at Kennesaw State University. I work with students, getting them connected to our office resources, such as assistive technology, academic coaching, testing accommodations, as well as on-campus resources outside of our office also.
Awesome. And what time during the college process would you suggest that students start reaching out to your office about accommodations?
I would say as soon as possible. I recommend that when students are doing their college tours or when they first become interested, reach out to that office, become aware of the services that they provide, the types of technologies they may have, because every college is different.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that from a lot of people. It can get really busy during the beginning of the school year, and it's always good to reach out early.
Absolutely. I strongly recommend the spring.
hmm And what is the process like, once students have reached out to start working with your office staff?
So, once students are fully accepted with our university, we have an intake form on our website that they are able to complete. It just has like various questions asking them about their disabilities, functional impact, if they've received accommodations now, what do they look like, and what they are looking for from our office.
And what do you find are kind of the most common mistakes that can preclude students from being able to access those accommodations?
Time. Waiting too late. Just it is just very imperative that students are advocating for their needs. There is this idea or an assumption that sometimes accommodations roll over from high school to college, and unless students self-identify, we are unaware of what accommodation students may or may have not received when they were in high school.
Okay, so starting early and having that documentation in place is definitely important.
Absolutely, most definitely.
And does the Student Disability Services Office, help with communicating about accommodations to students' professors, or is that more kind of up to them?
Oh, well, we definitely work with professors on campus. Our office itself, we do presentations and trainings with faculty and staff on campus. If students work with professors and they find they need some assistance with communicating their needs, we work with the professors and the students as advocates to effectively, find a middle ground between what the student is looking for and what the professor can offer.
Yeah, it's awesome that you guys do training with professors, definitely. And how often do students need to reapply or meet with staff at KSU to make sure that they're keeping up those accommodations throughout the year?
So every semester, students will request their accommodations for the classes that they want to use them in, and that's just semester by semester basis. If they want to come in and meet with us, we do it as the student identifies. It can be based on their needs, if they want to update their plans, if they want to modify them, if there's been a change in condition, then we typically meet. But it's unlike K-12 where we have the annual meetings. We don't necessarily do that.
Okay. And something else that I had seen on your website was talking about academic coaching that's offered through Student Disability Services. Could you tell me a little bit more about what that program is like?
Absolutely. So we have an academic coach within our office, and she is wonderful. She works with students on time management strategies, note-taking strategies, studying strategies, test preparation, motivation. She even offers a body doubling where students are able to work alongside other students virtually as a way to, hold each other accountable, without having to physically be present. Another awesome thing that KSU has is the Academic Success Coaching Office, which does offer some similar services, similar to our academic coaching. But our academic coach, she views it from the lens of the disability and how we are to bridge the gap for our students.
No, yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like a really great resource. And kind of along those lines, are there any specific staff members that are trained to work with students who have dyslexia specifically?
We do not have a dyslexia specialist. However, all of our disability service providers, they are trained. We do work with the Regent Center of Learning Disorders to have training every year, quarterly actually. And then we work with the University Systems of Georgia to ensure that all of us are up to date with various techniques and what learning disorders are presenting as on a daily basis.
Awesome. And are students receiving accommodations ever granted like early scheduling, priority, or anything like that when they're deciding what classes to take during the semester?
Yes, that is one of the lovely perks of our office. All of our students are granted priority registration, which allows them to register for their classes before everyone else. They're able to essentially get the pick of the litter.
Nice. And are there any kind of, potential waivers for certain classes like foreign language requirements for students who are receiving those accommodations for a learning disability?
Yes, with the appropriate documentation, our office confers with the Regent Center of Learning Disorders to review waivers when it comes to foreign language, math prerequisites, and other waivers that apply to general education classes.
Okay, so it sounds like students can come and talk to you about that probably on a case-by-case basis if they feel that's important to them.
Absolutely.
And is there access to, an on-campus or online writing center? I know that's been something that's really helpful for me in high school.
Yes, KSU has a premier writing center that works with undergraduate students and graduate students. They review on an individual basis what paper student provides. They also have weekly workshops that highlight, struggles of a typical undergrad or a graduate student. So how to write a thesis, making sure that your papers are adequate for your standard English composition class, learning how to write at the collegiate level. Those are some of the topics that our writing center covers.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I know that's been something that's super helpful for me. And what advice would you give after seeing so many high schoolers transitioning into college at KSU? Do you have any words of wisdom, I guess, for anyone who's entering the college process this year?
Absolutely. Be open, be an advocate, don't limit yourself. Our office has a lot of resources, but we are just one. And KSU, especially Student Affairs, does a wonderful job of providing resources that are accessible for all students and that we want all of our students to take advantage of.
Oh, that's amazing. And, thank you for telling me about some really awesome programs and support systems that you guys have in place. Before we kind of wrap up, is there anything else specific that you want to highlight about KSU?
Not really. I think KSU kind of speaks for itself. Once you come to the campus, once you see the buildings, meet some of the staff, I think you're able to discern the kind of environment that is fostered here and how students are able to succeed.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. It was great to hear some more about KSU and the different support that they have for kids with dyslexia.
Thank you so much for having me, Kenzie. It is truly appreciated.